The philosophy of KappaGuerra is rooted in the understanding that martial arts are not just physical practices, but also holistic systems that encompass mental, emotional, and spiritual development. Now that probably seems cliche, but it's only because there are a lot of organizations that say that without actual practice of it. But integrating capoeira, boxing, and judo, and with this, capoeira promotes a unique approach to self-defense that emphasizes adaptability and fluidity. This philosophy challenges practitioners to cultivate a mindset that values creativity, resilience, and strategic thinking. Students are encouraged to view every training session as an opportunity to explore their potential, pushing the boundaries of their capabilities while remaining grounded in the principles of each discipline. Now, remaining grounded in the principles of each discipline does not mean strictly adhering to the physical style, like stances and forms and things like that, but the principles that they each were founded on and came from. Capoeira comes from slavery, and boxing has its own history in sport and competition and dueling and honor and things like that. And judo is just one of the many branches of jiu-jitsu. This focuses more on takedowns and throws than necessarily all of the grappling and groundwork, although it does have those elements. But at its core, KappaGuerra emphasizes the importance of understanding one's body and movement. This is, it's interesting too that the very first Capoeira academy that I trained with was called Corpo e Movimento with Mestre Pelé. His master was named Mestre Angola. But he had Corpo e Movimento, which means body and movement. Capoeira's rhythmic, acrobatic elements encourage fluidity and grace, while boxing instills precision and timing in striking. Judo's focus on leverage and balance teaches practitioners how to use an opponent's energy against them. It could be said that all martial arts should, when properly applied and practiced and used, do the same thing, use the opponent's energy against them. There's many ways to do that. Rope-a-dope that Ali did was one, although not very much a recommended one. But in that way, George Foreman's energy was used against him, and I'm referencing a very specific fight where he tired him out. So, with this synthesis, what it does is it creates a dynamic training environment where martial artists learn to flow between various techniques, enhancing their responsiveness in real-world scenarios. The philosophy teaches that success in self-defense is not merely about brute strength, but rather about intelligent movement and tactical awareness. Another essential aspect of KappaGuerra's philosophy is the concept of community and mutual respect among practitioners. Training in KappaGuerra fosters an environment where individuals support one another, recognizing that each student brings unique strengths and perspectives to the practice. This collaborative spirit reinforces the idea that martial arts are a shared journey. Practitioners learn from each other's experiences, fostering a culture of continuous improvement and respect for the diverse backgrounds that each martial artist brings to the mat. KappaGuerra also places a strong emphasis on mental fortitude. The integration of capoeira, boxing, and judo requires practitioners to engage with their fears, anxieties, and doubts. Overcoming these mental barriers is as crucial as mastering physical techniques. Through focused practice, students develop a resilient mindset that prepares them for the unpredictability of real-world confrontations. This mental training encourages martial artists to approach challenges with confidence and clarity, allowing them to remain calm under pressure and make effective decisions in the heat of the moment. So the philosophy of KappaGuerra serves as a guiding framework for martial artists, fitness enthusiasts, and self-defense practitioners alike. It promotes a comprehensive approach to training that harmonizes body, mind, and spirit. By embracing the principles of adaptability, community, and mental resilience, practitioners of KappaGuerra are equipped with the skills necessary for self-defense and empowered to lead more balanced and fulfilling lives. This philosophy stands as a testament to the transformative power of martial arts, encouraging individuals to grow both on and off the mat. Now, it would be a testament to martial arts, but a really good example of how this is not always true that comes from fiction. And if you listen to any of the talks that I hear, the podcasts, you'll realize that I'm like, I call it the bumblebee process, which is, in one of the Transformers movies, Bumblebee, he used the radio and different audio in order to use his voice because his voice processor was damaged. So I do something similar where I reference a lot of fictional media, and just media in general that I come across to emphasize or explain or elucidate different points that I'm making. And so one of them about, so this idea that there's a transformative power of martial arts is not always true in the good sense. And so the fictional example is Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai, right? Miyagi, as a teacher, he passed down certain values. And so his students were, the good guys. If I'm going to use, these common tropes or that are used in stories, right? In storytelling. And Cobra Kai were the bad guys, right? Because their masters and teachers were all about violence and winning by any means necessary, so on and so forth. So, yes, there is a transformative power of martial arts in anything really in general. But what is it transforming into, right? kind of transformation is happening. And you could look at that as anything in life. So there are a lot of benefits of combining capoeira, boxing, and judo. And the integration of capoeira, boxing, and judo creates a multifaceted approach to martial arts that offers numerous benefits to practitioners. Each discipline contributes unique elements that enhance physical fitness, improve combat skills, and foster mental resilience. Capoeira, with its rhythmic movements and acrobatic techniques, promotes flexibility, agility, and coordination. Boxing emphasizes striking power, footwork, and defensive maneuvers, while judo cultivates grappling skills, balance, and leverage. By combining these arts, practitioners can develop a well-rounded skill set that prepares them for a variety of self-defense scenarios. But it must be said that those characteristics that can be said to be unique elements are not necessarily so. See, capoeira does have rhythmic movements and acrobatic techniques. However, you will find that there is rhythm in boxing as well, and judo. And judo could be said to have acrobatic techniques. Some of the throws and also learning how to break falls and roll and things like that are acrobatic in themselves. Judo, more so than boxing, promotes flexibility, but boxing also promotes agility and coordination. Boxing emphasizes striking power and footwork, but also so does capoeira with the types of kicks that are delivered. There's a lot of power, like enormous power in capoeira kicks. Also, when practiced correctly, there's an enormous amount to learn from the footwork. And capoeira is also very defensive, but in a different way. Instead of blocking, there's a lot of esquivas or escapes. And judo, where it talks about grappling skills, there are grappling skills in capoeira, which is very related to the catch and catch can and many of the traditional wrestling styles from Africa, but also balance and leverage. Capoeira, when practicing a certain way, uses leverage and takes the other person off of their balance. So all of those things are not necessarily isolated to one or another martial art. So one significant advantage of this combination is the physical conditioning it provides. Each discipline engages different muscle groups and promotes cardiovascular health. Capoeira's dynamic movements improve endurance and flexibility, while boxing training enhances strength and explosive power. Judo's focus on throws and ground control builds core strength and stability. The varied workouts keep training exciting and challenging, reducing the risk of burnout and injury often associated with repetitive training routines. So this holistic approach to fitness not only results in improved physical performance, but also contributes to overall well-being. Additionally, the mental benefits of integrating these martial arts is incredibly beneficial. Training in capoeira encourages creativity and adaptability. As practitioners learn to think outside conventional fighting techniques. So again, training in capoeira encourages creativity and adaptability as practitioners learn to think outside conventional training techniques. Capoeira can be very unconventional, and it actually should be. Capoeira actually, in its essence, must be, from my experience, a vale tudo, or anything goes. You have the fundamentals that you're practicing, which really is the deceptive part, which is the dance and the game. But from the basic Jinga and some of the characteristic movements of capoeira that come out of the Jinga, someone practicing capoeira should really be learning how to do anything, how to punch, how to throw, how to submit from and be able to transition from any movement to another capoeira. So boxing instills discipline and focus. I mean, what martial art really should be, right? I mean, we should be thinking about discipline and focus. And discipline can mean different things to different people. So boxing instills discipline and focus, sharpening mental acuity during sparring. And judo emphasizes strategy and patience, teaching practitioners to remain calm under pressure. Together, these elements foster a strong mental framework that is crucial for effective self-defense. This mental resilience is invaluable, allowing practitioners to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively in high-stress situations. So from a self-defense perspective, the combination of capoeira, boxing, and judo offers a diverse toolkit for practitioners. The striking techniques from boxing can be effectively paired with the evasive movements of capoeira, creating a fluid striking style that confuses opponents. Judo's grappling techniques provide options for close-range encounters, allowing practitioners to control or subdue an attacker. This integration ensures that martial artists are not only prepared for various combat scenarios, but also capable of adapting their strategies to fit the context of the encounter, making them more effective in real-world scenarios. Yes, and the thing to understand too is I simply chose capoeira, boxing, and judo, but this is really when learning to put together any art forms that emphasize specific things. Capoeira is seen to be very kicky, right? There's a lot of kicks. Boxing, very punchy, mostly punchy. And judo is grabbing, throwing, takedowns, right? So, but this could be learning how to use any various different disciplines in combination with each other. What happens when doing that is what leads to many of the benefits that come from that. There are also social and cultural aspects of these martial arts, and those things enhance the overall training experience. Capoeira's rich history and community-oriented practice foster a sense of belonging and camaraderie among practitioners. Boxing gyms often emphasize teamwork and mutual support, while judo promotes respect and discipline within its training environment. By engaging in a hybrid practice, individuals can connect with diverse communities and share experiences across different martial arts cultures. This social component adds depth to training, making it not just a means of self-defense, but a holistic journey of personal growth and community engagement, which has long been a great part of my ministry for many years, which has grown across and been syndicated across my various different, mostly websites and podcasts, and it's, whatever, whenever I share things on any media or social media at all, but it's the idea that we look at different disciplines as being separate, but they really are not. They're just a way of of using a certain type of scope, looking at it from a certain perspective to study that specific aspect of something. But when you practice various disciplines, like for example, I study metaphysical sciences and have bachelor's, master's, and PhD in that, as well as from a different school I have a degree in hypnosis. And I started my first death metal band back in 1993. The same year I also started practicing KappaGuerra. And very shortly after that, about 5-6 years later, I trained with a professional boxer and then began boxing and then got into amateur MMA. And I was also on the wrestling team in high school, so on and so forth. So I also write haiku, and I love to read about science and so on and so forth. And what begins to happen is that you see that these things are not separate. It's just they only appear separate if you only focus on those aspects of it and think that reality and existence is separate when it's really not. They're just a way to focus in on certain things for a certain result. Like, the way to look at it is if we look at medical practices, or just when a person gets injured or something happens, right? If somebody breaks their finger, you don't give them a pill, right? Unless you're like, you found a pill like Rick did in Rick and Morty, where he gave Morty a pill and it fixes his broken leg, right? Unless they have that kind of technology or something. But I think that's what it was. Or it was like a ray or some zapper he did. But you would focus on the broken finger, right? And that's what different various disciplines are. They're simply focusing on one specific issue. But to confuse that with ultimate reality is where a lot of problems come. We're just simply focusing on the area of interest. And sometimes that area of interest starts because there's a problem that needs to be addressed. So that's where a lot of it comes from. So what can you do to begin understanding the real-world application of martial arts? Well, it's important for practitioners who aim to integrate various disciplines effectively. In the context of KappaGuerra, which combines capoeira, boxing, and judo, roughly, as I mentioned in a different way before, this understanding becomes even more significant. Each of these martial arts offers unique techniques and philosophies that contribute to a well-rounded self-defense strategy. A well-rounded self-defense strategy. Well-roundedness is one of the keys here. And it doesn't matter how you come about that necessarily, but just learn to be well-rounded. For example, most people see, and only because that's what I record, is my striking game, without knowing that I'm actually a much better grappler than I am a striker. And I'm also much better with firearms and other various weapons than I am grappling and striking. So, but it's just, those things don't lend themselves very well to me analyzing my videos so much. So, but it's about being well-rounded. Right, so by analyzing the practical applications of these arts, practitioners can cultivate a deeper appreciation for their training and enhance their ability to respond effectively in real-life situations. The capoeira, with its emphasis on fluid movement, rhythm, and agility, teaches practitioners to navigate dynamic environments. This art form encourages creative problem-solving and adaptability, vital skills when facing unpredictable attacks. Although with the badly organized circus that a lot of capoeira has become, you would be able to do that. The focus on evasion, which I talked about earlier, is esquivas, which means escapes. Right? The focus on evasion and counterattacks allows capoeira practitioners to maintain an element of surprise, making it a valuable component of self-defense. Understanding how to incorporate capoeira's principles into real-world scenarios can empower individuals to move confidently and fluidly, transforming their training into effective responses during confrontations, which we really don't want, but that's what one of the practical applications are. Boxing, on the other hand, brings a distinct focus on striking techniques, footwork, and defensive maneuvers. Its emphasis on timing, distance, and precision enables practitioners to deliver powerful strikes while effectively avoiding incoming attacks. In a self-defense context, understanding the application of boxing techniques can be pivotal. Learning to recognize when to engage and when to retreat, as well as mastering the art of controlling distance, can provide a significant advantage in high-pressure situations. The principles of boxing, when integrated with capoeira and judo, create a formidable skill set for self-defense. Judo contributes an essential aspect of grappling and throws, which can be particularly useful in close quarters scenario. I have to distinguish though, even though I don't like to grapple. And I distinguish grappling from throws, as people who already know this, is what jiu-jitsu practitioners consider rolling, right? You grab somebody, take them down, you're rolling around the mat, you're playing a chess game to figure out how to get the submission, how to get the choke hold, the arm bar, the leg lock, right? It's this rolling around to kind of get that position to be able to lock that in. That's the grappling game. It's figuring that out. And that's something that's best done one-on-one. You don't often see 3 people grappling, and it's not the best situation to get into if you're out on the street. My focus on judo has been learning a few throws of judo and learning how to throw a slam in judo, and then learning some key chokes, arm, and then a few leg locks, which you can learn anywhere, but it's more about the strategy and the principles. All right, it can be useful in close quarters scenarios, right? Especially learning the leverage and how to control people in those situations. The ability to leverage an opponent's weight and balance allows practitioners to neutralize threats without relying solely on striking. And there are some interesting applications of just submission arts in general, which I'll categorize under Walu, the art of bone breaking, which are very effective in clandestine missions for special forces or military, where they're not going to be stabbing and shooting people, but being able to silence somebody from being able to scream or yell or make noise, and then eliminate them using their bare hands. But this aspect of judo is especially valuable for self-defense, where the goal is often to escape rather than engage in prolonged confrontation. Literally throw, sweep, somebody slam them and then get out of it. So understanding how to execute effective throws and holds can empower practitioners to control and de-escalate situations, reinforcing the importance of technique over brute strength. So ultimately, the real-world application of martial arts like KappaGuerra extends beyond mere physical techniques. It encompasses a mindset of awareness, confidence, and strategic thinking. By integrating the diverse elements of capoeira, boxing, and judo, practitioners develop not only their physical abilities, but also their mental fortitude. This holistic approach to self-defense training ensures that martial artists are prepared to respond effectively to a wide range of situations, embodying the principles of adaptability and resilience that are essential for personal safety in today's world.